Welcome back everyone, and welcome to today's video where I will show you the meta loadouts for the Cycle Frontier, and I will give you a meta loadout for each stage of progression. So I'll give you one for early game, mid game, and then end game. What more can you expect from this video? In this video, I will talk about the best meta guns that you can be using for each of those 3 levels, and my recommendation for the armor that you should be using at those levels. We'll be starting off with the guns, and then after that I will also show you what the best armor is going to be and how to farm for it efficiently so that you can keep your printer turning and flipping out armor items all day long. Let's dive right in. Alright, so let's talk about the absolute best of the best guns that you'll be wanting to use to be as competitive as you can be in the Cycle Frontier. Now, obviously, this video is not going to be about the 3 legendary guns that you can craft in the crafting station, as these are extremely powerful, but let's be honest, about 1% of the people playing the game will ever have these, as the cheapest one, the Zeus Beam, comes in at a whopping 902,000 K marks, not to mention the insane amount of resources that they are required to be able to be crafted. Now, in this video, we'll want to talk about the meta guns, the ones that will be readily available to you and that will tear people up. As of right now, there's pretty much 2 S-tier meta guns available right now, and that's going to be the Voltaic Brute and the Core 47. The Voltaic Brute, which is available from the ICA vendor, has seen several nerfs since the closed beta, but it is still without a shadow of a doubt one of the best guns in this game. It's got a high fire rate, it's got a decent clip size, and it's got strong penetration, making this gun into an absolute menace. Put a light converter on it to give it even more penetration, and slap a bunch of recoil reducing attachments on there, and this thing will absolutely shred up anything that stands in front of it. The Core 47 is the strongest assault rifle in the game. It's available to be bought from Coraxggstreams, and even though it's a relatively low fire rate, especially compared to the Voltaic Brute, each shot that lands with this thing will absolutely hurt. Again, push this one to the limit with a medium converter on there, slap as much recoil reduction as you can fit, and you're good to go. Between these 2 guns, it's hard to say which one of the 2 is actually the absolute best, as this kind of comes down to your personal preference and your playstyle. If you want to fight at a bit of a longer range, you're probably going to be a fan of the Core 47. If you like it up close, personal, and very fast paced, the Voltaic Brute might be more your jam. Now, let's say that you have not yet unlocked these guns and you are kind of in the mid game of your progression, and you still want to pick up the most bang for your buck. There's again 2 guns that I can recommend for that, which would be the KBR Longshot from Coraxggstreams or the Advocate from ICA, as both of these guns are very strong and reasonably versatile. The KBR Longshot might be a DMR, but it packs a very strong punch, and if the playstyle suits you, can be a very strong choice. Again, ammo converters, recoil reduction are your best friends when it comes to kitting them out with attachments. And then in the early game, I only really think there is one gun that really just sticks out above all of the rest. There's several guns who are absolutely fine and playable, but one of them really just punches above its weight class, and that is the Manticore. It's versatile, it's accurate, it's dirt cheap, and it makes this gun feel like a mid-game gun, but you basically unlock it as soon as you pay the littlest amount of attention to Osiris. Again, as with most guns in the game, slap on an ammo converter, recoil reduction, and just go to town. You could also go for cool points and go for a silencer, because the Manticore with a silencer sounds absolutely freaking badass. Right, now that we have the guns out of the way, let's go into the armor part, and this might surprise some people, but the meta armor is not going to be the exotic or the rare armor or the purple and the pink armor. It is actually going to be blue armor. If you want to know what the reason for that is, I recommend checking out my other video that I made about this, where I explain all of this and why blue is actually the better choice, and I go in depth into the topic. You'll find the link somewhere around here on the screen. Blue armor is just very, very good right now. It is super easy to craft, super easy to farm resources for, and the repair costs are very cheap. The choice is up to you whether you want to craft regular blue armor or tactical blue armor, as the tactical armor has a little less armor but gives you extra stamina to be more mobile. My advice here would be, for solo players, I would recommend going for tactical armor, because the mobility is going to save you more often than the extra armor, in my opinion. Now for squad plate, you could just go for the regular armor as it will make you a little bit more soaky. What you could also do is mix and match a little bit, go for a regular body armor as usually your body will be the part that tanks the most shots, and then go for a tactical helmet to have a little bit of both. Now let's take a little look at where we can find all the materials that we need to craft this armor so that we can get that printer running. A regular blue helmet requires 2 aluminum scraps and 2 rattler skins, while a tactical helmet needs an extra interactive screen. The regular blue armor will need 2 CPUs, 2 cloudy Veltacite, and 5 rattler skins, while the tactical armor requires 1 poison ivy blossom instead of the cloudy Veltacite. Before I go into explaining where we are efficiently going to be farming all of the materials that we need to craft this blue armor, I'd like to ask you if the video was helpful to you, and if you like the content, consider dropping a like down below on the video and subscribe to the channel to help me get closer to the 1K subscribers that I need to be able to apply to the YouTube Partner Program. It really helps me out, and it really helps me to keep making content for you guys. So thanks in advance, and let's check out where we can find all the good stuff. Now, where do we find all these materials to craft the blue armor? A very big part of the answer to this question is going to be Comms Tower. This area, while being pretty easy to loot, has a ton of resources that you need to craft your endgame armor. Over there, you'll be able to find interactive screens, CPUs, aluminum scraps, and a bunch of other materials. Make sure you check out every civilian locker in there, and it is a huge plus to have the server room key, as this will let you loot 4 civilian lockers, 4 money cases, and a vault. All at 1 tier higher loot level than what Comms Tower is, because it is a locked room. Server Room is a progression gold mine, as it will also be the easiest spot on Bright Sands to find nutritional bars, aka Twinkies, to upgrade your safe pocket later on. A secondary location to farm CPUs would be Waterfall Labs, although in my experience finding CPUs has become pretty easy, as they seem to spawn in way more locations than they did before in closed beta 2. The real thing that could be holding you back in crafting your armor is going to be aluminum scraps, because these are going to be pretty hard to find on Bright Sands. Should you venture into Crescent Falls, however, it should become quite a bit easier, as aluminum scrap starts popping up in tier 3 loot areas in dumpsters, civilian lockers, and industrial crates. If this talk about loot and loot tiers is confusing you and you don't really know what that means, or you don't really know how that works, let me know if I need to make a video about this, because if enough people want to see a video about that, I'm happy to make one. I just don't know whether a lot of people need it or not. The last couple of items needed for the recipes are all very easy. Rattler skins is just basically farming rattlers, cloudy Veltacite is just farming Veltacite, which you can very easily do at Waterfall behind the Waterfall Labs in the north of the map, and then Poison Ivy Blossom can be found wherever you find the ivy looking overgrowth, which is mainly on the dig site, waterworks, and of course the entire jungle area. Just be on the lookout for those blue-white flowers in those areas, and you'll only need one to craft a tactical armor anyway, so it's going to be very easy to farm up a bunch of those. And there you have it, a solid list with all of the best guns for each tier of progression you're in, and a handy little farming list to be able to craft the most efficient armor in the game right now, all in one spot. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.